Now the next part is the kill trigger part. So I don't know the name of this kill trigger. Instead, I could use the dot target of this fizzler model thingy, but I don't know its target name as well. All I know is this guy's target name, which is key U. So I'll just make a new function. Which I'll also call. But I know that this function, I will not put anything blocking in it. So no whiles, no waits, no wait tills. So I don't need to thread it. And as such, I can just get my initial trigger. I can also get my fizzler. And even my actual kill trigger. As you can see, this thing has .target auto 2, which happens to be the target name of this fizzler effect. And that fizzler effect has a .target auto 3, which is exactly this trigger multiples target name. So now in the script I got all these three things. I can do fun things with them. For example, I could give the trigger the instruction to just wait until someone presses it. For that I'll need to make a new function. Like so. As I know that this will be blocking, I'll thread it. And I'll call it on the trigger itself. So in this function I can use the self, which will then be this trigger, because it's called on that trigger. If I would do it like this, it would only run once. So I'll need to put a while loop around it. Like so. So, in this case, I also need to make my fizzler hide in case the player uses the key. I'll just give my fizzler the instruction to only be visible to players that don't have a key used item. Like so. That's all I will do with the fizzler, nothing more. The underlying map tool script will take care of the rest. Anyway, we're waiting for the player. And then I could just give the player the trigger called key use. But just as last time, I'll need to check if he doesn't have that yet. And as such, it will also give a message in case the player already used it before. Yeah. So, the only thing is, we don't know if the player has the key when he does this. So we need another if. to check if the player actually has picked up this key that we defined earlier. And if not, we can just give him a friendly message. Now that's all fine and dandy, but we're not using our kill trigger yet. So we need a secondary function for that, or tertiary. And we'll call that kill players, and I know it will be blocking, so I'm threading it. And inside this function I can use self to reference to kill, which is our kill trigger. So in this case the trigger will wait for a player, and let's just make him suicide. But in that case everybody that walks through that trigger will die. Not only the guy that should die, but even the person who activated that key. So let's check if he already activated that key. And if not, he can suicide. However, the Call of Duty engine is a bit buggy, because if you suicide, then it takes a few server frames in order for the engine to figure out that you're actually dead. That means that you might get suicided twice. So to counteract that, I'll just add a small wait here, which should prevent that. Now technically, this isn't entirely foolproof, given that one player can no-clip into the trigger and not get killed, while the other one can pass right through, because this trigger is stuck in this loop, mostly trying to kill the first player and then waiting. If this wait wasn't here, both players would instantly die. But yeah, that barely happens, and even if it happens you can block it with checkpoints well enough to prevent people from using it. So this script should be finished. I'll just save it. In my maps/mp folder as the name of my map. .gsc. Then I'll compile my map without any lighting, because if you don't have any lights it will be dark as hell. And then you can find your map in main/maps or /mp if your map starts with mp_. We also got a d3d_prt file, which you only get if you don't have any light leaks. And I'll copy over the map tools from my previous stream, which is in the gh folder /map tools. Then I'll add my custom texture, which was the cruise water test. And I also need the image for it. And then I can just pack my map as a .zip file. That's important. And I'll just rename it to IzNoGoD in here. And there's my map. I'll just copy that to my main for now. And I'll start my Call of Duty 2. And yeah, this takes a bit because of Windows 10. But I'll basically type /dedicated2 to create a secondary server console. On which I can then set my developer to true. And then load my map. As you can see, there's no errors, the map is just running. If you type status, you'll see that the map is actually running. So then I'll start a secondary instance of Call of Duty 2, which also takes a second, and I'll go to my server list and I'll just connect to my local server. There's no mods, so it will just be deathmatch, which is fine. As you can see, it's hopelessly full bright. And if I walk through this trigger, I will die with the "you shouldn't be here" message in my screen. No matter how many times I try, I shouldn't be there. Now I can try to activate that thing, but if I do that without picking up the key, you do not have the key to use this. So that script also works. That's nice. So then I'll just pick up the key, which will disappear when I press F in 3, 2, 1, because of the not trigger only thing. The key will, however, still be here, solid, server side, so it will be a bit laggy. That's why this kind of stuff should always be made not solid, preferably in Radiant, but you can also do that through script. Given that I now have the key, I still cannot pass through this thing though. I can, however, given that I have the key, activate this thing, and when I do, that fizzler should be gone, as you can see. And then the kill trigger also doesn't kill me anymore. So map test successful.